Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Insurance Journal's Academy of Insurance's weekly webinar after show. I'm your host, George, and joining me for the after show today is the director of the Academy of Insurance, Mr. Patrick Raitt, and today's instructor. Today's class was Ethics Frontier, Navigating AI and Claims in the Age of Complexity, and our instructor is Heather Blevins. Heather, welcome to the after show. It's great to have you here.
Fantastic to be here on the best after show in insurance, right?
Wow.
Probably the only, but that's not relevant.
She's a great guest already.
That's right.
And a first-time instructor of the Academy. Heather, welcome, and what a great bar you set for classes for new instructors and for the year, because you're one of our first classes. So again, I could think of all kinds of accolades to hurl your way, but again, welcome. So absolutely. So Heather, you said that you use AI day in and day out for things. Before you used AI day in, day out, what did you use? You said it was to accelerate certain processes. What did you do before AI, and would you still walk back like using AI, or is just AI here to stay with you?
Well, I definitely say that AI is here to stay with me, mainly because it's enabling me to focus on things that are complex and that require extra, like the human brain to be placed upon that. I love the usage of AI for summarizing of large amounts of data and research, and just like automating certain pieces of tasks that feel administrative and rote and everything. What I do caution people about is that while I live in a world where I take AI, I take that research and data and I use AI to summarize a lot of that. That doesn't mean that I'm not the human completing the loop like I talked about it. That means that I have to go back and check every piece of what that AI has spit out for me as a product of what I gave to it. And that is the diligence time, but it shortens that summarization time like greatly for me. Prior to using AI, I would definitely say the types of tasks where I might have been doing that, and this was in my previous role, my previous company, it would be days and days and weeks of just combing through massive amounts of information and sorting it and going, okay, what's relevant, what's not relevant, tell me how to, and then I had to use all my judgment in those, just like throwing out things and not using them or using them. And that was the frustrating part of the world pre-AI, is that if it felt like things took us a lot longer to do than they should, really. So that's why I think AI activates human capabilities in a lot of ways that people are a little bit anxious about right now, but I think we all need to just jump on the horse and get ready and do it,
Absolutely. You are a self-avowed word nerd, excuse me. Yeah. Do you what are your favorite insurance words that you think are really interesting, either linguistically or stylistically? And are you afraid that ChatGPT or AI will decrease people's creativity and ability to be word nerds themselves?
If anything, and I don't know how much you all are playing with AI, because I like to play with a lot of the different platforms that are out there. In some of my own personal work, like I love to use Grok, mainly because it can be sarcastic and crazy and put something in a tone that's kind of like, I need this to have a little bit of an edge to it whenever I want to say it. But some of my favorite words in insurance, obviously, like the aleatory contract. That's such a fun little word to say. It's aleatory. And then obviously, insurance is ripe with acronyms as well. It always made you feel like you were super strong when you understood, like you were the book of knowledge associated with all the acronyms that are out there. What I did learn really rapidly in the 20 years that I spent in insurance is that every single function in insurance, and I worked in claims and both property, casualty, both sides of that, and then over in underwriting, and then over in the operational side of of an organization. They all have their own acronyms. So you have a whole new language that you have to learn as you might bounce around that ecosystem. And I would just challenge everybody to think about, like, AI is just a new language for insurance. Insurance is all about language, right? It's just
Right.
AI is just the new language for us that we have to learn.
Sure. I had a book of insurance poetry published on Tilting at Windmills Press, Insuramatopoeia, and I did insurance parodies of classical or classic poems, you know, so I'm a big fan of wordplay as relates to insurance. I think my favorite insurance word is estoppel. If that's a, yeah, I think that's my favorite, because it sounds like estoppel, like, you know, it's kind of exotic or whatever, but I don't know. I like estoppel.
Yeah.
Patrick Raitt, Director of the Academy of Insurance. What is your favorite insurance word? What do you think of Heather's topic in general and her class in particular today?
So my favorite insurance word is not all that exotic. It's maybe. that's the word.
Maybe.
It just any question that comes in is followed by a whole series of word salad. Usually ends with I'm going to respond with maybe, which can be frustrating, but you know, sometimes I don't mind being a little frustrating. So this class is very interesting. I've been thinking a lot generationally, right? You know, we're all of an age. None of us are in our 20s any longer. But I think we all grew up. We have seen everything from going to the library and sifting through the card catalog to find the book we want, to get the paragraph we need for the paper we're going to write. And now we've got ChatGPT who can search volumes in a moment to find information. And then I have to spend an hour trying to figure out whether or not it told me the truth or not. But well, maybe not that long, but I mean, this topic is incredibly fascinating to me. And likewise, I mean, we're using AI tools all the time, trying to multiply efforts. And I feel like this was really on time because I know here in the state of Florida, a legislator had introduced a bill stating that if carriers are using AI large language models in the adjudication of a claim in any way, that some person with a license has got to sign off on all of that documentation. And you better be able to, someone's going to show ultimate responsibility. And I don't know, well, I think I do know, Heather, but if I were signing my name to something, I'm checking. I'm not just trusting ChatGPT or Copilot, Grok, or anybody else. I'm not trusting my supervisor to write the letter with my name put on it, let alone an AI.
I think humans have an issue with trust in general. I mean, like, we're living in a world where trust is a hard thing for people today, but I do think there are things you can trust AI to do. It just, the thing that you have to verify, it's trust but verify. Wasn't that the old George H.W. Bush phrase, right? Or George W. Bush phrase, trust but verify. That's how the world that we have to walk into, is that we have to be willing to say, yes, we're going to give these types of responsibilities, but we're also going to be the people who are going to steward that appropriately. We're going to be the people who are going to check and make sure and run the testing and do all the things that I don't know how to do yet, that I'm trying to figure out and learn how to do in building that algorithm and eliminating bias from it. I don't know if you all saw the news here lately, but there's a new, there's a buzz in the news lately about something called Moltbook out there. Yes. Where AI agents are getting into these places and talking and everything. And it's really hard to tell who's the AI agent and who the humans are that are involved in this right now. And this Moltbook had a massive data leak that happened pretty fast in the usage of it. So there's cyber risks that are associated with AI as well. I know I didn't even get into that in the presentation, but those are the type of issues that we have to grapple with. in the usage of AI is that people are, there's going to be some situations where it's going to deviate and it's going to do that. But do you have the audits in place? Do you have the controls in place to make sure that you are regularly checking in on the quality and what's happening with that AI algorithm in order to make sure that it is delivering in a consistent manner that's consistent not only with your claim handling practices, but maybe the policy and everything else that you have, the guardrails that you have put around it. And that's the thing is I don't know that a lot of people know how to operate in that space of let's put these operational guardrails around it yet.
Yeah.
Those are the things that we have to be thinking about.
And I think in some ways, for example, 15 years ago at another job, implementing a new policy system, right? And where agents go in and they add the data for the client, and the system could automatically decline, automatically accept certain risks that were well established according to the underwriting parameters. But we were very comfortable with the idea at that time of going in and validating a percentage. And early on, it was a high percentage. And as time went, it proved itself, it went to be a very low percentage. And the thing I think that people struggle with these generative AIs is that their responses sound so much like another person that people forget you're still trusting software. You're still trusting an algorithm, a machine learning platform that you don't fully understand and like you say, keeping those guardrails in place rather than just letting all the controls go and being, I think we need to be very judicious with it and see what happens. I'm certainly can't say we're going to put this cat back in the bag. I mean, to mix metaphors, Pandora's box is open.
Definitely.
There is no closing it.
No, and I mean, as I said, AI is here to stay. It's a reality. Do I think it's going to upheave the entire industry? No, because insurance has been through countless technological advancements from the beginning of it until today. And insurance is very good at weathering those types of challenges. They have become a lot more flexible, adaptable industry that can mold itself and be cautious enough, but also innovative enough to step forward and say, we're going to use this. What I think that has to be done, and this is the piece of it that I think that a lot of people need to keep their eye on as you learn about this and you educate yourself, is what are the regulators doing? Those are the things that are going to shape shift how AI is used in New York versus California versus Texas versus Florida. Pay attention to the regulator standards that come out. Pay attention to national legislation associated with it as well, because obviously insurance and the legal world are tied at the hip. Pay attention to what's happening in the finance world with it as well, because all three of those are like a three-legged stool that stand together. And make sure that, as I told the attendees in the session today, that you're educating yourself and that you are upskilling yourself for things that you don't know how to do today. Because it is a coming reality that AI can do a lot of very administrative rote work, and it can do it well. But people are still going to be needed. But if you're not pushing yourself to upskill, you'll be stuck in that place where you don't have the complex skill set that you need to be able to move forward with the industry where it is.
100%.
And that's not a fear thing. That's not a scare tactic for people. That is a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call for me, You've got to push yourself to understand this more, or you're going to be stuck in a place where you don't want to be, realizing that you're woefully lacking in the skill sets that you really need where the industry is moving today. And that's a hard thing to predict too, because as I said, everybody's feeling like all this newness of how AI is being implemented and where it's being used and who's using it and how it's shaping and affecting, human decisions in organizations. There needs to be a call to all those people to sit down and really evaluate, where's my skill set at? What do I need to learn? There's tons of courses out there that people can take around it too. They're free even. That can help to upskill you and get you in a place. You all offer a ton of education out of the Insurance Journal and the Academy and all of that. Grab a hold of that and challenge all your people to really learn about it, so you're not caught in the whirlwind that's coming in the next year and a half, 2 years, because it's moving fast.
Heather, one last question. And we know you're a self-avowed insurance rebel. At the end of the class, you said you were going to put on your judge hat, but the hat you put on looked more like someone who would be stopping at the Cask and Flagon for a beer on the way to a Red Sox game. Do you actually own a judge hat or a judge wig like Gregory Peck wore in the parodying case? Can you tell us if you have one of those barrister wigs in your closet?
That's a funny story. Obviously, we know that, my co-speaker today was unfortunately detained and not able to make it. So I was like, well, how am I going to play both of these people? And I was like, my husband wears Boston Scally hats all the time. That's like his choice of hat. And I was like, okay, I'm going to grab one of his Scallies, I don't own a judge's wig, but I am going to London next week and I'm going to go to Lloyd's of London. So I think I might just have to throw one of those on and take a picture in the bathroom at Lloyd's of London. That would be fantastic.
Can you send it on over to the Academy? We'd love to have it. Patrick Great, Director of the Academy of Insurance, thank you for coming to the after show today. Heather Blevins, always a pleasure, always and for the first time ever. And if you, we hope we have you back at some point to teach again. You and Jane, or Joanne, excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, rock and roll. Would love to come.
Bring Jane too. That'd be fantastic.
Jane, we'll bring a Dane along too. Why not?
Right. On behalf of Patrick and Heather, this is your host George saying thanks everyone for coming to the after show. We'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.
That one's for the record books right there.